If I was a brand new content creator starting off my career, not really too sure if I want to show my face or not yet, I would probably go on a website like this, charet.me or carrot.me, and create myself a simple, quick little PNGtuber that people can look at when they're watching my videos. Especially since there's all types of styles, I would really go for the most simplistic and also the cutest, not gonna lie. Probably something like this, and just make it happen. All you need is 2 pictures. You need one with the mouth open, one with the mouth closed, and you're good to go. Now you can generate more if you want to make it more complex, but it is really easy. So let's get into it. We can do start new here. I haven't used this one in particular though. So this website basically hosts different styles. So you just pick whatever style fits the most and you're good. Also, this website has guidelines that allow you to use those for YouTube and TikTok and Twitch and things like that. So what are we controlling here? It is usually super intuitive. Here you can select the face shape like that. On the left here, you can control the skin color. You know, if I'm making myself, we're gonna go a little darker, a little desaturated too. It's always hard to figure out which one I am. Not gonna lie. Let's put some eyebrows. I'm literally looking at myself on the camera on the on the OBS preview. Let's do this. And as I said before, this is where you want, if you want your character to be like always smiling or not, basically the initial face before it speaks can be just, you know, sitting there smiling and then talks like this, blah 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 blah, or chilling, maybe kind of mad, or maybe just like a slight smile like this. Something simple like this one, kind of smug. And then let's say that when you're talking, you want to switch to this, smiling, or you can go to this kind of like exhausted, kind of disgusted type of talking, or you stop, or you can be straight up mad. Attitude. If you're making videos where you rant about stuff, or if that's just your attitude in general, let's see what else we can do. You can add all sorts of weird, not weird, but you know, just extra stuff. Again, we are in a scenario where none of that really matters. Can I get a little bit of that? I don't like the way that looks. A little bit of that, that's me. That's me right there. Just a tiny bit. Those look, yeah, okay, the facial hair is not really... So the hair here is separated in 3 parts. Remember, if you don't like the style, there's a gazillion other styles, right? I'll just pick this one because I think it's better if you go super simplistic rather than a super advanced like anime looking model or whatever. I think simplistic, this, more people will relate to this than people will relate to like a super detailed anime looking thing, right? Unless, I don't know, you cover anime or something like that. You know, like your audience is gonna be a lot of weebs. Not negative, by the way. In that case, yeah, go ahead, you know, cater to the weebs. But if not, no reason. You know what? I kind of like it like that. Glasses. I don't really wear glasses. Sometimes I wear round glasses. We have the hat. Sometimes I wear a beanie. I like the beanie look with those like chibi things. I also wear a bucket hat, but I'm always wearing a headset. Wearing one right now. Can I change the color of that? I can. What that? This is so cool. HyperX headset. Now I'm gonna keep it normal. Oh yeah, you can change whatever you're wearing. I'm mostly wearing a t-shirt, but that's cool. I like the extra detail on that. Hoodie is also cool. Okay, so in decoration, for example, this is the part where if you're doing like video essays and you want sometimes a little hand to show up and be like, no, and blah, 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 blah. You can add a lot of emotion by just switching out this, right? You're basically saving multiple images and then bow. Mind you, in this scenario, and I think it's important for me to say it, you somehow don't have a $25 or a $50 to pay an artist to actually make it for you. Or, you know, you're not sure if you're gonna like content creation in general, so you're not ready to invest. But I do wanna make it clear that the best course for that kind of stuff is always to pay an artist or to learn how to draw yourself. But to be fair, if you start using this, and you're gonna see it when we start exporting it, the more you want to customize it, the more you're gonna realize that you're gonna start learning how to draw and how to use a photo editing software to really make it do whatever you want it to do. For example, if I wanted to cut the hand out here and make it animated, you would probably do that in a photo editing software. But yeah, look at this, is like pretty much made for content creators. I'm not gonna lie. If you're a live streamer, you could maybe use channel points or use like an advanced PNGtuber software in order to switch in between those things. I recently covered one that lets you automatically switch in between moods and stuff. Would be perfect. But anyways, we're keeping this video very simple. I believe finish is here you click. So there's high quality download, but there's also regular download. This is bugged, I think. Wait, I don't think this is supposed to be there. Anyways, there's high quality download, which will download it and will ask you to pay for the PNGtuber, which I haven't even tried. I don't even know how much they cost. But if you right click on this one and you click open image in new tab, then you will have the one you created. The only problem, quote unquote, is that you don't have a transparent background. But to be fair, we can go ahead and just edit that. So if I go back and I click on face and I go back to mouth, and this time I pick mouth open, and then I click finish, then I right click, open image in new tab. Now I have my two images. Okay. Now technically I could put them in OBS Studio and have them working. In fact, let's try to do that right now. The most important thing here is that you need the plugin called image reaction, and you can see it right there. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description. And once you download and install this plugin, OBS Studio will have a source that lets you basically upload a PNGtuber. So what I'm going to do here is download those two. Mouth closed, mouth open. So back in OBS Studio, when you have the plugin installed, when you go to add a new source, you will have an image reaction source. Don't worry if your OBS doesn't look exactly like this. This is kind of new. OBS just dropped this, but this list is going to be the exact same. Okay. So image reaction, you can see I already had a previous custom made PNGtuber, but you can add this and click add new image reaction. On top it's going to say image when silence, and at the bottom image when sound. So silence is mouth closed. Let's go look for that. There you go. And the bottom is mouth open. Okay. Now you just need to pick your audio source. You can see mine is mic auxiliary. And now when you talk, you can of course change the threshold. Ba 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 ba. If I go ba 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 ba. Testing 1, 2, 3. There you go. Something like that. And you can make it a little smoother so it's not super jagged when you're talking basically. Spend like a couple minutes testing this and making sure that it works well. Of course, it's not the best quality ever, although this is a 1440 screen. What I'm going to do is right click on that, click on filters, and we're going to add a couple of filters. First one is going to be color key. Click OK. We're going to go for color key type, custom color, select color, and then pick screen color. Click on that, then click on the background, and then click OK. And just like that, background disappeared. You can play with the similarity or really hone it in. There's some other plugins you can use to really make it smoother, but testing 1, 2. For example, there's a plugin called Stroke Glow Shadow. It allows you to add, well, those 3 things. And I can add an outline basically, right? To make it a little smoother, and I can pick the color of said outline. It can be black, and I can really play with the size. You can see it on the right side there. And then set the position to inner stroke. Now it should make a little bit more sense. There you go. And I can always play around with the similarity too. So that's one way of getting it. If I want it to be a little sharper, there's also sharpen. And I think that comes with vanilla OBS. Bump that up and you can see it looks a little sharper since, you know, it's a little low quality. It's just your basic like unsharpened mask, super sharp, not super sharp, just to make it a tiny bit less blurry. Maybe putting it before the color key can help. Okay, so now I can go on my like gameplay scene, for example, and I can add this as its own scene. If I click here, for example, I can click add one existing and it adds it there, right? Now I can place it and I can just do my thing. There's a whole lot of plugins to add a whole lot of effects. I'm not gonna go through all of them. I know the shader filter plugin has a chroma UV distortion shader, which is gonna go woo. But if we lower the chroma, make the distortion pretty big, play with the amplitude, lower the distortion actually, and lower the amplitude, should get to a point where it looks like it's kind of floating. Yeah, something like that. Of course, lower the chroma also. And there you go. Now you have a little floating little buddy. Looks like he's in water. Woo. Okay, not too much. Not too much. Yeah, something like that looks pretty good. And there you go. You can make content. I'll put a link in the description to the website. As I said, play around with it. You will have to pay if you want to download some of the transparent ones. But as you can see, you can easily just change the background and then chroma key it in OBS. Multiple different styles, a lot of accessories and all that. So that's really cool. But of course, the main thing I want you to do is find an artist that you like. Don't pay someone on Fiverr to use AI to do that stuff. Don't use AI to do that stuff. Mostly because if you're not creative enough to do something that basic, you're not creative enough to prompt AI well enough for your thing to not stink of AI after that. So yeah, have fun.